Good morning. Welcome to another ride. We're just pedaling really easily right now. Super light resistance. Legs aren't turning very fast. If you'd like, you can sit up like I am and practice feeling your upper body. Being held, supported by the spine. We can let our arms hang down to the side, shake them out, release any tension in them, and feel that pull in the shoulders and the neck there as we let the weight of the arms just hang down. It's the opposite of them being tense. When they're just hanging down, you feel that pull in there. And I'd recommend you just let your belly relax. No need to hold it in when we're cycling. We can tune in as we're sitting up tall like this to that sense of decoupling the lower body from the upper body. Let's get our hands down to the handlebars now. Just rest the heel of your hand onto the bars so you can wiggle your fingers. Releasing your shoulders away from the ears and letting the elbows be slightly bent. Breathing. Let's start to tune into the muscles working through the 360 degrees of the pedal stroke. We can feel the engagement. It's rhythmic and repetitive. It's like a pulse in each leg. Together now, let's bring our leg speed so we're up to around 85 to 90 RPM, still with really light resistance. Keeping in mind that decoupling of the upper body and the lower body. Noticing how the pedal stroke is all driven from the hips down. I'm going to sit up a little bit, just shake out my shoulders a little bit. I felt a little tension, tiredness in the upper body. Coming back to the handlebars, carefully settle my hands into them again. Holding this 90 RPM at light resistance, we can feel a little bit of warmth coming into the muscles of the legs. Feel a suppleness, sort of a smoothness, or smoothness, I guess, in the pedal stroke as the legs start to warm up. It's a nice time to think about that bottom part of the pedal stroke, just before it and just after. Think of that J shape as we come down, and then engage the hip flexors to unweight the pedal as the opposite leg is then into its downstroke, power stroke, the power part of the pedal stroke. It's that nice exchange, each leg alternating, pressing down, and the hip flexors lifting up. Let's bring our pedal speed up now to 100. Still light resistance. As we get up to 100 RPM or so, there's always a tendency for the hips to want to start to bounce at these higher pedal speeds. It's a perfect opportunity to practice settling the weight onto the onto the seat and decoupling. Now slow your legs back down to 90 RPM again. Notice what that did to your breathing, to your heart rate. How'd that feel in the muscles of the legs? How's your body feeling today? Become aware of how the muscles feel. Become aware how your upper body and lower body feel interacting with the bike. Interfacing with the bike. At 90 RPM, let's add in some resistance. It feels like we've moved into working zone on a flat road. We can identify that working zone because the muscles are challenged a little bit. We notice that. And we have thoughts about that. Very often the thoughts are, oh, this feels a little challenging. I wonder how long I have to do this. That's a great thought to have, because it causes us then to notice how our muscles are feeling and to think about how long we would have to do this, how long we could do this if we had to. That time to exhaustion. It's a great way of gauging what level you're working at. Because we're in working zone now, I can feel my heart rate slowly but surely coming up. Now allow your legs to slow a bit from that 90 RPM and see if we can sync up to the rhythm of this song. It's actually about just the same, isn't it? about just the same. No real slowing down at all. How do your muscles feel right now? We're in working zone. We've been here a minute and a half, 2 minutes on a flat road. Let's talk about time to exhaustion a little bit. If you are struggling at this moment, then you just have too much resistance. If you feel a little discomfort in the muscles of the legs as you hold this rhythm, that's just about perfect. We do not want to be struggling to hold the rhythm. But we want the work level to be enough that the muscles are slightly uncomfortable and our heart rate and our breathing are picking up. So we have this nice level of muscle engagement that makes it easy to feel the scraping through. And each pedal stroke, the engagement of the calves and the hamstrings as it pulls through. See if you can notice that. Place your mind to the idea of using the hip flexors to unweight the pedal, taking the dead weight of the leg off of the pedal so that the opposite leg can be pressing down and it's not fighting against your own body weight. That's the idea behind using the hip flexors to unweight the pedals. We're not really pulling up on the pedals. We're just trying to remove the dead weight of one leg off the pedal, which then helps the other leg more effectively apply power. I can feel my breathing picking up now. I'm starting to get a little sweaty. Is that how you feel? Check in, see if that's how you feel. All right, bring your resistance down to very, very, very light again. Slow your legs, sit up tall. What's your breathing doing right now? How do your muscles feel in your legs? Now mine feel quite tired because yesterday I rode from Hood River up to Rowena Crest in the Columbia River Gorge, except for a couple of sharp downhills that are incredibly short. Most of all of that is going uphill. So my legs are tired today. I knew that would be the case. It's perfectly fine. I'm just noticing it. All right, allow your legs to align with the rhythm of the song. Sitting up tall, just process the sound, the music, the rhythm. Once you have the rhythm, come back to your handlebars and add in resistance that feels like a gradual uphill. Not super steep. but definitely going uphill. Yesterday, the ride was one of those reminders that I teach about in here. Is that when you're climbing a long, long, long hill, you really just take it pedal stroke by pedal stroke. Each pedal stroke is a commitment, a decision, really. And I practice all the things I teach here. I constantly was relaxing my shoulders, shaking my arms out. My hands were to the middle like this. I was feeling my hips driving over the top. Usually just looking 10, 15 feet ahead of me. That's what I'm doing now. My friend who I was riding with did one of the things I never do, which is he said, see, look way up there? See that point way up there? That's where we're going. And I remember thinking, oh my. And I remember my mindset as I looked at that and I thought, what? This has never seemed that hard before. I don't know if I can do that. How long is it going to take to get there? Holy cow, my legs hurt already. You know, all of that. It came into my mind. And I remember thinking, okay, forget about all that. Next 10 feet. And breathe. I've never looked up like that before on this climb. So what's your breath doing now? Should be getting quite rapid. Heart rate is up relatively high now. See if you can feel your hips driving through the heels. Maybe exaggerate your hip motion for a few pedal strokes to really get that feeling. And let your belly relax so you can breathe. All right, bring it down to light resistance. Let's check in with our breathing now. Put it on a scale. Use the 1 to 10 scale. As a way of noticing how rapid your breathing is, therefore what your heart rate is relative to your maximum heart rate. Your out of breathness is always a measure that's relative to your maximum heart rate. Someone who's in massively better shape than me, after a particular effort that gives me, say, a 7 or 8 out of breathness on the scale, if that person does the same exact thing, they would be at a 4 or 5. So it's relative to your maximum heart rate and fitness. But we have control of the knob, so we can always dial in the same feeling. That person, to get the same feeling as me in a given effort, would use more resistance. Okay, our legs have had a chance to recover and get back to normal after that little climb. We're going to do a really short but intense climb. Starting seated, starting seated, and then we'll come out of the saddle, back to seated, out of the saddle one more time. The whole thing will take about 40 seconds. That's it. Let's make it a real challenge, shall we? Add in your resistance for very strong, very challenging seated climb now. You definitely feel the torque in the hips. Yes, very uncomfortable in the legs at this point already. First time standing up, crank your resistance so that you can't pedal it seated and stand into it. Now come back to seated climbing. You can reduce the resistance from what it was before when you were seated because your legs are much more tired now. That was hard. We're going to go again in 3 and 2 and 1. Crank it up again. Stand into it. Back to seated climbing for just 10 seconds. Aye. And come back to light resistance. Just spin your legs. Just spin your legs in the 80 RPM range now. So we're out of work zone. We're in active recovery zone right now. Go ahead and drink your water. Keep breathing from a relaxed belly. And while you're sitting up, if you're sitting up, with your light resistance, allow your body to just naturally find this rhythm. Notice that your breath slows from that climb we did, but it doesn't come all the way back to rest. Together, let's check to see how we're doing with our posture, shall we? What are your shoulders doing at this very moment? Have they crept up to the ears? If so, let them down. How are your hands interfacing with the handlebars at this very moment? You know, it might help to try and feel what the texture is of the handlebars. Notice where in the hand you feel the pressure of the weight of your upper body. Really, really tune into the details. That helps us to be present. All right, we're aligned to this rhythm. Let's add in a little resistance so it feels like a headwind but not a hill. Headwind, not a hill. Back into working zone. I'm using the rhythm of the music to keep myself as centered as possible. I'm noticing when my mind wanders. I notice when that happens. It does it a lot. Very, very, very often. So we have resistance on, so you can slow your legs a little bit right now. We have resistance on, leave the resistance where it is. It feels like at that pedal speed we're just hitting the headwind. We're gonna come back to our handlebars and then we're gonna use that resistance that we had at this rhythm, realign to the rhythm, and then we're gonna accelerate way off of it, way up into the hundreds. Okay, come back to your handlebars, get this rhythm, exactly what we were doing before, feeling in the working zone with a little headwind. That's what it felt like. When I tell you, we're going to accelerate up to 100 RPM in 3, 2, 1. Come on up to 100 RPM. See how smoothly you can do this. If you find it extremely difficult to hold this pedal speed, that just means you started with more resistance than you should have, which means you can take some out right now. In 3, and 2, and 1. Come back to your rhythm. My heart rate is, my breathing and heart rate are at 7 or 8 at this point. back to your handlebars. Take a deep breath. Stay at this rhythm. We're going to accelerate again. In 3, 2, 1. Come up to 100 RPM again. Remember, we're decoupling the upper body from the lower body. You can practice your champagne glass trick. I'll hand you a glass of champagne. There you go. Hand it to my friend over here. Slow your legs down, reduce your resistance. Drink some water. Pedaling very slowly right now, absolutely allowing the breathing and the heart rate to recover a little bit. As we keep the legs turning at low resistance and a slow speed. All right, coming back to our handlebars now. Setting our legs to the beat of the song, keeping the resistance light. Remember that this intentional act of aligning the legs to the rhythm of the song takes a lot of brain processing in all kinds of different parts of the brain. Ease in some resistance now. So we're back to a shallow hill. Shallow. That means it's challenging. Your mind has taken note of the challenge. Your muscles feel the challenge. But it's gradual, so you feel like you could hold this a little while. 10 minutes is totally within the range. Possibility. It would be hard, but you could do it. I want that feeling right now. And together, let's focus on driving the hips over the top, engaging the lower back and the glutes. breathing doing now? How's the heart rate responding to this effort? See if you can close your eyes now, if it feels comfortable to you.
Stare into my eyes in the dark. Stare into my eyes forever.
Come back down to light resistance.
Stare into my eyes in the dark. Stare into my eyes forever.
One last hard effort before we cool down for the day.
Forever.
Are you ready? Just one hard effort. A full out sprint on a flat road. Let's remind ourselves of what a sprint is. It's a very high cadence, high resistance effort that creates a ton of power. And it feels like we couldn't hold it more than 45, 50 seconds. That's the limit. That's how it feels. Of course, we could test it and see if we could hold an effort 45, 50 seconds. But we're going to go for the feeling. We're going to examine ourselves as we do it. And we'll only hold it about 10 to 15 seconds. All right, let's get ourselves into a beautiful position. Check your weight on your hands, check your shoulders, check your back, your neck, line, belly's relaxed. In 3, 2, 1. Accelerate your legs, add in that resistance. Check to see if this is something you don't think you could hold for 50 seconds.
Stare into my eyes in the dark. Stare into my eyes forever. Stare into my eyes.
All right, slow your legs down. Hey. You'll notice your breathing continues to increase. Now we're back to extremely low resistance, very slow pedaling. We're cooling down. Breathe, drink your water. Your only mission now is to let your heart rate come back down, so pay attention to it. Pay attention to your breathing. Well, the legs definitely were tired today. Feel free to sit up like I am. Keep the pedal stroke very slow, keep your resistance very light. Let your belly relax. Let's slowly but surely let our legs begin to come to a stop. And once they do, just sit up tall for a second and take in a couple of deep breaths, feeling the belly expand as we do. Rising up with the feet at 3 and 9 o'clock. Drop your heels, feel that stretch in the calves. Woo. Let's rotate the back foot to the front now, and again drop your heels. Slightly different stretch for each calf. Swing the leg over the bike and holding on to the bike as you step onto the ground, pull back on one of your ankles to feel a stretch in the front of the leg. And now to the other leg. Oh! Quads are not normally sore like this. Now to the hamstrings. Use the top bar of the bike or the handlebars of the seat, whatever works for you.
But you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to.
Oh, should have done this yesterday.
I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't,
okay, now the other leg.
change. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. I can help you out. I can help you out.
Beautiful ride. I'll leave the music going for a couple of minutes. Stretch, drink your water, center yourself again. We'll see you next time.
Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no wonder